If you're thinking about diving into the stock market, or maybe just dipping a toe, then you've landed in the right spot. Today, we're going to unravel the basics of getting started with investing in stocks so you can feel more confident and make smarter choices with your money. Now, if you're new to this, you might be feeling a bit overwhelmed, but don't worry, we'll walk you through everything step by step, from preparing your funds to picking your first stock and beyond. Let's start with step 1. You need to have some money set aside specifically for investing. Think of it as untouchable money, meaning it shouldn't be cash you need for bills, emergencies, or anything coming up soon. Think of this money as having one purpose: to grow in the market over time. As tempting as it may be to borrow or scrape together funds just to get started, it's usually not the best move for beginners. Ideally, start with an amount you're comfortable leaving alone for a while. Even $100 is a good starting point, which is more achievable than many people think. When starting small, you give yourself room to learn without taking big financial risks. Whether it's $100, $500, or $1,000, what matters most is that you're committed to letting this money sit and grow without needing to pull it back in the near future. On to step 2, opening a brokerage account. This part is simpler than it sounds. Essentially, a brokerage account is like a digital wallet that lets you buy and sell stocks. There's no cost to open an account, and many brokerage companies will even offer you a welcome bonus to get you started. And don't worry, setting up a brokerage account is as straightforward as opening a basic bank account. You'll provide some personal info, link it to your bank, and just like that, you're ready to enter the market. When picking a brokerage, it's helpful to go with one that has a good user interface, low fees, and great customer service. This small choice can make your journey smoother and save you money over the long run. After setting up your brokerage account, step 3 is adding money to it. This involves transferring funds from your bank to your new brokerage account. It's a simple process, usually as easy as entering a deposit amount and confirming it. Most brokerages will let you link directly to your bank account for quick deposits and withdrawals, and many allow instant deposits, meaning you can start buying stocks as soon as you transfer funds. Once you've got funds in your account, it's time for step 4, choosing your first stock. Now, this is where it can get overwhelming, but don't worry. If you're just starting, you don't need to pick the next big thing. The best advice for beginners is to diversify. This means buying shares of multiple companies instead of putting all your money into one. Why? Because if that one stock takes a dive, you'll lose all your money in that one bet. Instead, spread your funds across several companies to help balance out the risk. Another essential tip is to stick to large, well-known companies when you're just starting out. These companies, often valued in the billions or even trillions, are typically more stable and predictable than smaller, less-known companies. Think of familiar names like Microsoft, Visa, or Coca-Cola, companies with solid reputations and a history of steady performance. While these stocks won't make you a millionaire overnight, they're far less likely to be volatile than small, untested companies. If you don't have time to research individual stocks, buying an ETF, exchange-traded fund, or an index fund can be an ideal alternative. These funds represent a variety of stocks, giving you exposure to multiple companies in a single investment. Many ETFs track the S&P 500, an index representing 500 large U.S. companies, which means that by buying just one fund, you're effectively buying a slice of all 500 companies. For example, ETFs like SPY, IV, or VO are all popular S&P 500 ETFs that beginners can invest in. Just choose one that suits you, and you'll instantly have a diversified portfolio. Now that you have a stock or fund in mind, let's move on to step 5, actually buying it. Regardless of which brokerage you use, you'll follow a similar process. Enter the stock symbol, which is the unique code for each stock, specify the number of shares you want, and confirm the price at which you want to buy. For instance, if you decide to buy shares in Ford Motor Company, the ticker symbol for that is F. So if Ford's stock price is $11 and you want 5 shares, you'd place an order to buy 5 shares of Ford at $11 each, totaling $55. Now, midway here, if you're enjoying this video and finding it useful, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button. Subscribing really helps support our channel and ensures you don't miss any future tips. We appreciate it, and thank you for being part of the Elite Economizer community. Okay, once you've bought your first stock, you'll eventually need to know how to sell it, which is our step 6. Selling is just as easy as buying. If the stock price goes up and you're ready to take some profits, just place a sell order. Continuing with our example, if you bought Ford stock at $11 a share and it rises to $20, You can sell your 5 shares for $20 each, totaling $100. Once you've sold, step 7 is cashing out. Withdrawing money from your brokerage account is typically as simple as depositing it, and the funds will be sent back to your bank account, usually within a day or two. This makes it easy to turn your gains back into cash when you're ready. Lastly, there's one more important factor to discuss: taxes. Taxes on stock gains depend on whether you made a profit and how long you held the stock. If you buy and sell within a year, you may be subject to short-term capital gains taxes, which are higher than long-term rates. But if you hold a stock for over a year, you may qualify for the lower long-term capital gains rate. Additionally, dividends you receive from stocks are typically taxable. When tax season rolls around, your brokerage will send you a 1099 tax form detailing your earnings, which you'll need for filing. Just remember, if you didn't sell or make a profit, you typically don't owe any taxes. To wrap things up, remember that investing in stocks isn't about quick wins. It's about long-term growth. Even if you start small, taking the time to learn the process and develop good habits is invaluable. With a diversified approach, investing can help build your financial future. Thank you for watching today's video on the Elite Economizer. Don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful, and subscribe to stay tuned for more smart investing tips and financial advice. See you next time.